Hi, everyone. I am Catherine Mattice, Chair for the Conference of the International Association on Workplace Bullying and Harassment. The conference is in San Diego this year, 2022. I've got one of our many speakers. We actually have over 100 presentations at this conference, so it's going to be cool. So I'm here with Tina Ro-Connolly. She's going to be talking about workplace investigations and bullying. So thanks for joining me, Tina.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the things you've been uncovering in investigations these days? What are you observing?
Well, what we've been seeing as workplace investigators, particularly in the wake of the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movements, is that people are being empowered to bring forward not just their complaints about their gender, sex, or race, but about any misconduct or mistreatment in the workplace. And truly, employees are the driving force behind a changing workplace culture, one that will not tolerate the type of treatment that was acceptable even a generation ago. So we're learning more that employees are more savvy and more sophisticated about the internal complaint procedures and drawing attention to conduct that is problematic, not just towards themselves, but problematic toward the workplace as a whole.
Yeah. Would you say that, because like you said, it was maybe previously, I only should file a complaint if I really feel like it's harassment. I mean, are employees filing complaints about things like incivility and microaggressions too? I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I think incivility complaints are really the heart behind bullying and abusive conduct complaints. So yes, we're seeing a lot more of those. And we've been investigating those from all types of different employers, whether it's public sector, private sector, or even the nonprofit sector. Regardless of the industry, we've seen an increase in these types of civility complaints, also kind of known as the bullying complaints or the abusive conduct complaints. And microaggressions, yes, we've definitely seen an increase in those as well, though microaggressions tend to be more rooted in protected categories, microaggressions towards somebody based on their race, based on their gender. But definitely we've seen an increase in those as well.
Did you find that as bullying or abusive conduct started to become more of a thing, that we were, I mean, I started Civility Partners in 2009 and people are like, bullying? What? And now, I mean, it's been interesting to see that whole thing change, but I'm just curious, when you started getting these types of bullying complaints that weren't harassment, was it easy or hard to kind of decipher? And I don't know, what was kind of the learning process for you?
Oh yeah, I will say that they're definitely harder. And probably what makes them so difficult is that it's not usually when we see conduct based on a protected category, there are usually specific examples or specific incidents that an employee can point to saying this was an inappropriate comment that was made, or I didn't get this promotion and my colleague who is of a different race than me did. So they can point to something a little bit more specific and tangible. With abusive conduct and bullying, we're talking about conduct that tends to happen over a longer period of time. We're talking about conduct that can be very, smaller incidents, but over the course of, months and years can add up to something really significant. So so they're definitely harder in the sense that the employees have so many more examples to give or so many more incidents to talk about. So it's been really, really critical for us to keep the information gathering part of it organized and to really sort of direct the interviews a little bit more in the sense of, okay, when was the last time this happened? How many times did this happen? What's the most significant incidents, or what are the 3 most significant incidents? So we've definitely had to take a more proactive role in trying to make sure that the information we're gathering is relevant, that it's on point, and that it's ultimately, helpful to both the employee and to the employer.
Yeah, bullying is, I guess, this feeling that it's kind of subjective, that versus, like you said, if there's a sexual joke told, we can all say, well, there was sex involved in that joke. It was sexual harassment, but it's a little bit different. Why is it important for employers to investigate bullying complaints, even though that's technically legal behavior or not unlawful?
Right. It's technically not illegal behavior. That's right. Because the conduct is not based on a protected category like race, religion, gender, etc. So bullying complaints are not illegal under federal law and under California law, which is where our law firm practices. However, employers are still contacting us to investigate these complaints because they don't want to encourage this type of behavior in the workplace. And this conduct can still violate their policies, as you mentioned, code of conduct policies, civility policies, even though they don't violate the law. And certainly employers have an interest in enforcing their policies. So and from a practical matter, most employers we work with, they don't want to wait for bullying or abusive conduct to get to the point of being so severe that they're experiencing high turnover before they do anything about it. Those are some real practical consequences and costly consequences for an employer. And at that point, when you're experiencing turnover, people are leaving because they can't stand this particular supervisor or this particular coworker because they're being so abusive to everyone else. Then it's almost too late. It causes even more problems for the employer in terms of having to discipline this person and having to fill vacant positions as a result of people leaving.
Right. And repairing all that damage. That's right. I think too, I've always said because some leaders, they're so focused on just the compliance and the risk that comes with something like harassment. They'll, with bullying, it's like, just they're adults, they'll figure it out. But I like to say too, look, if you don't investigate bullying complaints or any of that lower level stuff too, then people aren't going to tell you when something illegal is happening because you've made it clear that you don't really care, because the employee's not going to distinguish that it's legal or illegal.
Absolutely. And that's an excellent point. Yeah. And to that point, a lot of employees kind of use the term harassment very generically, right? They don't necessarily know that harassment is a term of art under the law. So I think you're absolutely right. If an employee's come forward with a complaint of harassment, meaning bullying or abusive conduct, and the employer doesn't do anything about it, then what kind of confidence or what kind of message does that send to the employees?
Yeah. So tell us real quick, a little bit about what you're going to be talking about specifically at the conference.
Yeah. So we'll discuss the different types of bullying and abusive conduct complaints that employers have contacted us about. We'll discuss the patterns and the trends that we're seeing, and there definitely are some patterns and some trends. And we'll also discuss the approaches that we take in our investigations. I kind of touched on that already with how we approach interviews with the reporters or the complainants who are coming forward with their concerns, because it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and we're really looking forward to presenting on this topic. It's been a lot of lessons learned in the past few years.
I bet. I know for investigators, it's like a whole new world, all of this stuff. So, well, I look forward to seeing you here in San Diego, as well as all of the viewers of this video. Check out the links. They'll be down below, and join us. It's San Diego. Who doesn't want to be in San Diego?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.